Hey everybody, I hope you're well and I hope you've had a great Christmas and a great New Year. There's going to be quite a bit of content on the channel for 2019. I hope you find it useful. There's going to be quite a bit of news, so keep your eyes peeled for that and try and keep you up to date as much as possible with what's happening in the cryptocurrency world. I don't think it really comes as any surprise to anybody that Bitmain are looking to close down some of their mining operations. We've already seen quite a few Chinese operations go bust. I know from a personal point of view, I've closed off my mining maybe 6 months ago just because it became so unprofitable, especially the Dash. I continued with the Litecoin for some time, but it just got to a point where, there was a point where it was incredibly profitable, especially in the boom. But as soon as the bear market hit, it was a question of, do I run at a loss or do I trade what I have? And I decided to turn mine off. And it looks like the Bitmain have got to that point in time where they really sort of need to evaluate a lot of things. And I think the biggest thing is actually laying off the staff. So there's rumours that potentially up to 85% of their staff will be let go, and even in the regions of 50%. So that's probably the worst thing of it all, that people are actually going to be losing their jobs and they're going to have to find something else. Hopefully they will. But the big thing for me is that this was a powerhouse. It probably still is and still will be, worth over 14 billion. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. But at the same time, they also controlled massive amounts of the market. They're also very instrumental in the Bitcoin Cash element of things and stuff. So I'm not going to cry over this at all. I think it's probably good that one of the big players has been taken down a peg, because cryptocurrency overall is all about, it's supposed to be something that's fair for everybody and not just one person holding a shed load of the coins. So, and I think this is potentially a good thing, because again, it just opens up the marketplace, makes it a little bit fairer. More people can get involved in the mining and actually start to become a little bit more profitable, hopefully. So there's a few things here as well. So Bitmain mainly ASIC chips, obviously, designer and mining hardware and sellers, operating mining pools providing 1.5% of its revenue, proprietary mining providing about 3.3%. The rest was probably coming from selling everybody else, the miners, once they caned it big style. Because I remember getting my Litecoin machines. I think Litecoin was doing 2.5 Litecoins a day per machine. By the time I got them, they were doing half a Litecoin. And once I'd been running them for 3 months, it was a tenth of a Litecoin. Bitcoin is now facing some tough resistance areas, which is good to see, including a 200-day moving average line, along with the ascending trend line around the 3,700 mark. If Bitcoin succeeds to break up, then the next resistance will be around about 3,750 before facing the 3,800 resistance. Along with the 50-day moving average, behind lies the 3,850 and the 3,950 resistant levels. From the bear side support, the lower ranges are 3,630, 3,600, 3,480 and 3,400. In terms of the midterm inverse head and shoulders bullish pattern is still alive for the next few days. However, it will become invalid in case Bitcoin breaks below the 350 mark. The formation will play out if Bitcoin breaks up at the neckline around 4,150 over the next few days. So potentially something to keep an eye on. Trading volume is still low though. That's probably the key to call out here. And this is probably driven by obviously the holidays. I know I was doing some trading myself, and I did notice on certain coins and also on certain exchanges that volumes were pretty low, everyone getting drunk and all the rest of it. So that's just a quick overview of the Bitcoin price taking us into the new year. So apparently the institutional money is coming into cryptocurrencies in 2019. Now, this is coming from Mike Novogratz. I do follow Mike. I think he's one of the smartest billionaires out there in terms of the institutional side of things, but also one of the bigger supporters of cryptocurrency. He's also massive into Funfair and some other big projects as well. Now, he sees Q1, Q2 2019 as a period where institutions will start to come into crypto and pushing it to new highs. Now, one of the things that he does talk about is Brexit, and this is a topic I've been talking about for some time now. Brexit is a huge thing for the UK. The pound is supposed to go down 30% against the euro. There are huge concerns. People that are looking at wealth management will be looking at this with great concern, because that's a huge amount of wealth to lose pretty much overnight, and that's what will happen. And this could draw investors and some lay people like myself, investors, into the markets even more. and therefore push the price up, looking for that safe haven. You've also got loads of other things going on, sort of trade wars and all these types of things going around globally. So there's not just that's a big factor, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on as well. But the other thing we need to look at is that governments are looking to use blockchain. And this is one of the big things that I get quite excited about, because once the governments start using it, then it gets the sort of green light, it gets the okay, and then more and more people will start to use it. So the big thing for me is, you've got Russia, they're looking at obviously using it for... Then you've got Russia starting to use blockchain, and also they're not looking to tax blockchain, unlike Poland, who have just put some crazy taxes on it. So I think this needs to be some alignment in terms of those types of things going forward. And we've also seen China allowing the blockchain to be used in a court of law, to be used as proof. And we'll see this more and more as we know people can't interfere with the blockchain, and therefore it is what it is. We're also seeing prestigious universities investing in cryptocurrencies. And from what we're hearing, it's Harvard, Yale, and Stanford. And they've all invested in cryptocurrency funds. And to date, we're hearing that it's actually been tens of millions. And I remember Tony Robbins talking about a university a while back. And they brought someone in to do the money management side of things. And he actually turned out to be one of the big success cases over the last 10 years in terms of investors taking only, I think it was about 10 million and turn it into several billion for the university. So there's smart move by the universities to get in early doors. We've also got BAKKT, and I didn't really cover this too much back when it was sort of the news was released. And the main reason is that I knew as soon as I read it that there would be a huge time delay, delag, patience required before this really sort of became valid or had any weight to it that would really sort of get people excited. People got excited when it came out and nothing happened. It was like a wet fart, unfortunately. However, going forward, I think the build-up of the news will be more encouraging. I think the first big thing to take out is that they've raised 182.5 million, which is pretty decent for the futures product and also the digital assets platform. If you don't know too much about BAKKT, then these are the parent company to the New York Stock Exchange, which is one of the biggest out there. Some of the investors in the first round were Boston Consulting Group, Galaxy Digital, which is obviously Mike Novogratz, Goldfinch Partners, ICE, M12, which is the Microsoft VC fund, so that's nice to see, Pantera Capital, and Protocol Ventures. Now, none of these names that I see here are in the top 10 in terms of VC funds, but it's great to see that these guys have come and raised a huge amount of money. Now, there are some delays with the Bitcoin futures, so we're seeing another announcement on the 24th of January, but at this moment in time, again, I think that the big thing that I take out of all of cryptocurrency is that we had this massive spike and it was great and everybody was making money, and then the excitement and everyone blew their load a bit too quickly and it all came down. And I think now the key is, I've seen people get, on Twitter and everything else and getting all angry at everybody and blaming everybody but themselves. And I think this is just a period where we just have to be patient. We've seen this so many times with Bitcoin, especially with Silk Road. It went up to $1,000 from pennies pretty much, and it came back down to $100. Everyone was kicking off. I know a lot of people in some of my groups, they sold at that point and they're obviously kicking themselves now, but the big thing is you just have to be patient sometimes. Not all of these things are an overnight success. We got a little bit conditioned when people came into the markets. You could buy any old ICO and you could make 5-6-fold your money very, very quickly. And that sort of, lasted about 6 or 7, 8 months. And people got conditioned. If I invest in an ICO, I'll get my money out really quickly and I'll make a shitload of cash. But the reality is that was just a small snapshot in time. And then people got smart to people were just selling, so people were just dumping, and then ICOs were then changing some of the rules, and the dynamics changed very, very quickly. And obviously with the decline of Bitcoin and everything else, it just wiped out the markets. So again, I just think that we need to be patient. And I think the big thing is as well, is that when you look at a new market, which really cryptocurrency is, I know it's 10 years old and all the rest of it, but it's still a very, very new market, and it will never be linear, never go in a straight line. It's always going to go up and down We're always going to have these bear markets and bull markets, and you just have to learn every single time when the market takes place, that you take some learnings from it. Oh, I got too greedy, I didn't sell, get your money back, whatever it is. Just make sure you put those things in place. And I think the futures market is really the first step to regulation as well. So the XRP army is winning the crypto hashtag war. Now, there's a big excitement at the moment that Ripple is #2 cryptocurrency. Now, the first point is, the question mark is it really a cryptocurrency? I will discuss that on Stellar versus Ripple on a new video that I'll be doing. But the big thing for me is every single Christmas or the end of the year, last week of the year, Ripple has always been #2, apart from 1 year in the last 5 years where it was 3rd. So there is a trend that is happening. Now, again, in the last week or so, we've seen Ethereum really catch up. And again, Ethereum will overtake Ripple very, very quickly into the new year. Now, the big thing is with Ripple, I'm looking at some stuff of these versus Stellar. Now, when I start comparing these two together, it becomes really clear that XRP is driven like a San Francisco startup, like it is basically. They get the big marketing behind it. They've done the YouTube. They've really got behind Twitter. They've got those partnerships in place. But Twitter is the real hub for, if you're an XRP follower, then that's where you want to go. That's where you want to sort of see everything. And there's just a huge buzz online. I think some of the price predictions I've seen coming out, like $10 and all this type of thing. It's 10 billion coins. And the big thing is that XRP owns 60% of them. So even if it goes big, they can still dump in the market, which is the big concern for me. But there is still a lot of love for XRP out there. I know it's been a bit of a trade call. There's a lot of noise about it going on to Coinbase, but I remember many moons ago that the CEO of Coinbase said that, they didn't really view Ripple as a cryptocurrency, therefore they probably would never list it. The diehard community are really sort of coming back and saying, no, it's going on, and I'm hearing lots of different rumours. But there's still big hype around Ripple. Now, all I would say is just, the big gains in Ripple price have already been had. Again, if it goes back to all-time highs, there's a tenfold in it, which is decent. Seeing $10, I don't see that happening. Not, $3-4, we could see that, but nowhere near the $10 mark. That would be some crazy market cap. That would overtake Bitcoin completely, actually. And that would make it the #1 cryptocurrency, which I don't think I see with all the stuff that's happening. Some of the news that we've talked about today, I just don't see that happening somehow. However, if you are interested in Ripple and you want to follow some of the guys on Twitter, then XRP Trump, Hodor, Tiffany Hayden, Bank XRP, they seem to know everything before it happens. So follow those guys on Twitter, and then you'll get the sort of instant updates in terms of what is happening with XRP. As always, guys, I really appreciate you tuning into the channel. Please like and comment, and I will catch you on the next video. I'm feeling